Good morning, Miss Liz. Good morning, everyone. How are you on this terrific Tuesday?
Yes.
Terrific. It's a terrific Tuesday. It is.
And we're
back
together.
in the store.
Yay!
Exactly.
And Fran's back.
And Fran's not off gallivanting to Shop Hop meetings, which was a really fun Shop Hop meeting last week. We talked about next year. We talked about all of the great things that went on this year for Shop Hop, and we hope you all got to come and join us because we sure did have fun. With our
So much fun.
So much fun.
So much fun.
It was really, really good. So we hope you're all doing well this morning. We're doing amazing.
Yes,
Liz and
we
I
are.
don't know if you noticed. Look how fancy we are for you today.
We've got blouses on and everything.
Blouses and jewels.
Yes.
Jewels.
We have our lovely. Do we have any of these left?
Oh, don't talk about those. Okay, very few. So we ordered 50 of those in for Shop Hop. I think there may be 4 left up there. I know. Got to get a hold of my lovely Julie and order more. And I got to order some more of those chicken pot pies because, oh my gosh.
Those went like hotcakes.
They did. And I still have people coming in saying, we didn't get here to start with. Can you please get us some more? I know it's too early in the morning for my friend that makes those, but I'm going to get back on it and see if she's recuperated at all. So her first batch, she brought in 59 of those for us Thursday night. Shop Hop started Friday morning. By Saturday mid-morning, they were all gone.
And I don't think we've shown them on Village Vibes, so we'll have to have her bring some in and we can show them to you. Yeah. And she made baby ones this year, which we had never seen before. And oh my gosh, they were so cute.
Yeah, and she makes others that aren't chicken pot pies. She does all kinds of fruit pies. Really cute ones. So we'll get some more of our fun little pin cushions. But so we should ask everyone a question.
Yes, we should.
What should we ask this morning? Should we ask if they got to go to Shop Hop?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's just ask if any of you did get to go to Shop Hop and if you enjoyed it this year. When I went to the meeting last week, the little gal that hosts our website said she got some amazing feedback on it. But we'd like to hear from our very special friends too if they got to go and if they. Well, I don't want to say if you enjoyed it or not, because I know if you went, you did enjoy it.
Yes,
Especially if you came here and did a chicken dance.
Well, and I hope you got to have fun with some friends or, some girl time or guy time or however it worked out for you.
Or both, girl and guy.
Yeah, exactly.
We had one little couple that came in. They come in every year. I've seen them every year for several years. And so I always tease the gentleman and I say, so are you the packed meal today or are you the wallet? And chauffeur. He says, I'm all three. I say, bonus points for you. Bonus points for you. So we have some amazing customers. So today we decided that today should be Tutorial Tuesday. Don't say that 3 times fast because you get tongue-tied. Well, so we talked a little bit with Shay a couple of weeks ago about borders and the importance of putting a border on nicely. And I know sometimes people struggle a little bit with bias bindings. So we're going to show you a little tutorial this morning on how we do our bias bindings. There's lots of different ways to do those. Also, you can just take your piece and start cutting at a 45-degree angle. However, you're going to have that little corner that's over here that's left over kind of waste. What am I going to do with this little triangle? So Cody Mazrin, and I dug around today. Oh, wait, I got to come the right side. Here we are. Cody wrote this book. I'm not exactly sure when it was published, but she self-published it, and Cody has since retired. But it is an amazing, amazing book. We do have 2 copies in the store. Don't everybody rush down and call the store because I did. When she told us she was going out of business, I ordered a ton from her, but I'm down to my last 2. But Cody has a really neat way in her book of doing bias binding from a fat quarter, or I do it from all sizes, not just a fat quarter. If I've got a larger quilt, I'll do it from any size fabric. I've even done it all the way up to a yard. Little harder to wrangle that yard piece than fat quarters, but you can do it, and you end up with less seams and no waste whatsoever.
Oh, that's
I
fabulous.
know, right? And our Laurie made, Laurie is the one that introduced us to this, and she made an amazing handout that we have here at the store that we have given out to people. So we do have this in the store, so if I go a little fast and I confuse you, which I probably will, because I'm usually confused a little bit myself. Anyway, we do have these in the store, and we're happy to make copies for you and pass them out. And like I said, if you can get your hands on one of Cody's books, because it has much more than just binding. She's got piping in her book. She's got scalloped borders. It's a beautiful book. And Cody is a very, very amazing designer. So what I wanted to show you, a couple things.
Let's see. Can we pull this? We don't know.
We're experimenting to see. Oh, look, I think maybe we can.
We can.
Look, I think we can.
Too far over. Okay, so try and show what you've got.
Okay,
let's get all of our stuff out of the way.
You're
not supposed to see our messy
table.
table.
Don't see our messy table. Don't look. Ignore the messy table. Okay, so what I have here, what I started out with is a fat quarter. Okay, now, if you have a stripe, and this is why I chose this one, which probably wasn't my best option because it doesn't have a right or a wrong side, but I wanted to show you on stripes. If you're cutting a stripe, I want your stripe to be vertical, and I'll tell you why. When you start sewing these strips together, instead of trying to match your stripe, you're matching a straight line. Ooh, good plan. Okay, so you're going to take off your salvage edges. Don't worry about your edges on your top and bottom because we're going to trim all of that up later on. Okay, so here's my fat quarter. Now, for the sake of time, I did trim it. Yours won't be cut just yet. Okay, so here's my fat quarter. I am going to take my top left corner and I'm going to bring that corner down pretty even with the edge of my fabric, just like so. So I would have a folded edge all the way along right over here. I'm going to take my ruler then, and I'm going to just a little skinny cut all the way up that.
Just cutting off that fold.
Yep, just cut off your fold, just a little teeny tiny cut. Now when I folded these two pieces together, this is my right side, this is my wrong side on this piece here. So now I've marked both these sides. I hope you can see my little white mark. This is my right side, this is my right side here. I am simply going to take this piece, I'm going to grab my corner, I've got this turned upside down from what I had it earlier this morning. I'm going to grab this corner and I'm going to bring it right up to the top. Can you see that funky shape now that this is making? Is that a parallelogram? Mm-hmm. I think it's a parallelogram. Okay, so now you can see I've got my right side and my right side. I'm going to take this piece now. I'm going to put them right sides together. And I'm just going to sew. I'm going to line up this end up here as close as I can. And I'm going to do my 1/4 inch seam. Okay? Now, because it's magical and we are. Okay, now when you look at this, here's my piece. Just like so. I've sewn it and I've pressed it.
And you pressed it open.
I press my seams open. I do press my seams open when I'm doing my binding because it's less bulk. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a straight cut or it's a diagonal cut, I like that seam pressed open. So we've pressed that open. So now we're going to take this piece and I'm going to start folding. So this is where sometimes it gets a little confusing, but really it is not. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab, and you can't see what I'm grabbing, so let me, where am I? Okay, I'm backwards, so I got to come up to, hold on folks, I got to find the edge. Okay, so this is, I got it, sweetie, thank you.
Your top left.
My top left corner, which is right up here. I'm going to grab a hold of that corner and I'm going to fold it even down along that 45-degree line all the way to the bottom of my piece.
So you make a hat.
So I make a hat. I've got a nice triangle going out over here. Okay, now I've got that piece done. Now again, I'm going to go up and I'm going to grab that left corner and I'm going to, once again, bring it down even with the bottom of my fabric. Now, as you're doing this, just kind of feel in there and make sure you don't have a bunch of creases and folds because you don't want those in there. Now, you're going to feel a little bump. That's your seam. Don't worry about that. But I don't want you to have a bunch of bumps and creases and things in there that are not a seam. Okay, so now I've got it folded down here. Now I'm just going to continue. I'm going to fold that again. Now I've lost the bottom edge. It's okay because now look what I've got up at the top. Now here's my flat edge.
Okay.
And I'm going to fold it again. And each time I fold that, I'm going to check underneath and make sure I don't have any folds in my fabric. Okay. And it doesn't matter if this is a little bit off because we're going to straighten both ends of that. So now I have a piece that looks like this. Now, whether you'd like to trim yours at 2 1/4 or 2 1/2, whatever size measurement you like, bring your ruler. I want you to get a nice straight edge down at the bottom
with the fold.
And up at the top, and those are both your folded edges. Okay, then give yourself a little trim to where you can get rid of all of that uneven stuff over on your left side. Or if you're right-handed, it would be on your right side. Okay, I am very right-handed, so I'm sorry, lefties, I can't show you that. Okay, so I'm going to trim that. Then all I'm going to do is just trim, 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 till I have as many cuts of this as I want. When you unfold all of this, I should have made one quick cut of this so you could see. But when you have this guy all cut apart, now you're going to take all of those pieces and you're going to sew all of those together to make your one nice long piece.
Perfect.
There's no way, other than this little teeny tiny bit here at the beginning and at the end. That's all the waist. You have
awesome.
No corners. No corners. It's a pretty slick way, isn't
and
it?
no little teeny tiny pieces of binding that you're trying to match together.
No, you have nice, you'll
that's
end up
brilliant.
with a smaller seam here and there, but most of the time I won't even use those because they'll be at the beginning or at the end. So anyway, that's our fun little tip and trick for how we
bias binding.
For bias
And
binding.
let's talk really quick. Whoa, sorry, we're camera challenged.
We're almost back.
So
Here
let's
we
talk
are.
really quick. What is the benefit to bias binding? So why would you want to do that?
Okay, so almost always I do bias binding. Here's the reason. When you are going across the straight edge of fabric, you have a few little threads. Think about your quilts. Think about your quilts that have worn out. What's the first area that wears out?
Binding.
It's your binding. So when you cut your fabric on the bias, you are hundreds of little threads that are out there on your edge. So it's going to wear better. Number one priority. Second thing is, I feel like a bias binding sews on a little easier than straight. You've still got that stretch, which you do on your straight piece as well, but it just kind of eases onto there for me a little bit easier. So that's my biggest reason is wear.
And a stripe cut on a bias binding is just beautiful.
It really
is.
is.
It just is gorgeous.
It
well,
really
I like
is.
actually stripes on any form of binding. I love stripes.
I know. Stripes are good. And straight ones, I've seen a lot of well, we're going to show you one in a second. But straight ones are really cute too. But a lot of times, if I'm doing a stripe binding, I like to do it. Now, if I'm just doing a very small quilt or something that's not going to be washed or dragged through the mud, like sometimes we do.
Which actually, this will be what we're going to show you. It's not necessary.
No, it is really not necessary. And so sometimes on those smaller ones, I don't always do a bias. I do still like how it sews on better, but I don't always do that. So, yeah.
So that's kind of a goal of mine, is to do more bias binding, because I really haven't done much. And I don't know, it's just not something I've done a lot. So let's check in with our comments.
Say hi.
Oh, Callie said it was her first time at Shop Hop, but not her last one, right?
Because she has a beautiful friend that she gets to go with. Callie is one of Liz's good friends, and they got to go together.
We had so much fun, and she had a blast.
Nice.
Mandy got to go.
Good job,
Pam
Mandy.
Davis says she didn't get to Shop Hop, but
I owe you a text, Miss Pam. I'm going to get with you, too.
Jennifer Hicks.
Oh, my sweet Jennifer. I wish you well. You are always in my prayers, my friend, so I hope you're doing good.
And Joanne Laforte, did I say your name right?
We hope so,
Says
Miss
good
Joanne.
morning.
Good morning, Joanne. Good morning.
So I wanted to show you, this is a project I totally forgot I had to bind. So I pulled it out of my project pile this last week. So anyway, this is the front.
Isn't it so cute? Look, may I help you?
Yeah, I'm
Here,
not.
Can I hold it while you show your demo? Let me be a holder. Let me be your holder.
So, and I have been trying to perfect sewing my machine, my binding on my machine on both sides, because binding's not my favorite thing to do, and I just need to get it finished at this stage of my life. Every once in a while, I'm like, no, I'm going to hand sew this, but sewing it on my machine is a practiced effort. So in order to get good at it, I have to do it, and I just have to deal with it. And you know what? To unpick a binding is not a problem. If I screw it up, it does. It gets a lot better.
As you do it, you figure out a few ways to do that. One of the other fun little tips is that magic, that piping. It looks like piping.
We should talk about that another
We'll talk about that. Oh, we've got more for you. Don't you worry.
Don't worry. Part two coming soon.
Part two.
So I sew my binding onto the back first. Okay. Which, if you were going to hand sew it, most people would sew it onto the front. But because I machine sew it, I sew it onto the back. So let's see. I think we're going to try and go down again.
Go down again.
Whoa, not up. Down.
Hold on, guys. We hope we're not making you seasick.
Okay.
Hold on.
So then, I've got my overlap of where I started and where I finished, sewing on. And I don't know, what is that? Maybe 12, 15 inches, something like that. You need a little bit of space just so that you're not just fighting the quilt and the bulk of everything.
Yes.
So then on one side, it doesn't really matter which one, I would kind of pick and do a little bit more than half, and I'd chop this off right there, okay? And then I would have this little bit of binding left over. We're going to have to do our imagination. So then you want your sides of your binding to overlap however big your binding is.
Right.
So
if you
now,
do 2.5 inches, you would overlap 2.5. Or 2 1/4, 2 1/4.
Yes, which you could certainly measure with a ruler. But now I've got this little bit of binding left over that I've already chopped off, imagine that. And I'm just gonna put that on the end of my binding and put this over here. And now I know exactly where I need to chop that off because I've got the width of the actual binding. Now, what Fran and I were discussing is I have found that if I chop that just a little bit short, it's hard for you to see with this stripe, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, just a tiny bit short. And I don't measure it, I just eyeball it because your binding stretches as you sew it on. So if you make that binding just a little bit short, then you're good. So then you're gonna flip your one side, open it up, flip your other side, open it up, and do your normal thing, just like that.
You're so brilliant.
And you're going to attach it. But also, I guess before you attach those two sides, what I like to do, and this is a new find for me, and it was one of those finds that I thought, duh, Liz, you should have figured this out forever ago. I just kind of fold over this quilt in the middle, and I attach my little binding clips to it, or pin it, I mean, really, whatever. This now relieves all this bulk here. So when I'm trying to attach these edges, I just am not fighting that. I'm not fighting that anymore. And why it took me forever to figure that out, I don't know. But anyway, so now I've got these attached. I trim that off and attach it there. And then another thing that I didn't do at the very beginning when I was a first quilter is I didn't press my binding up. And I like to do that after I've sewn it all the way on as I press it up.
Press that again.
And then it just gives me a nice tight edge to turn around. There.
Very good. I'm going to try that on my next one. I did not know that.
I like it. I really like it. So
try that.
I just go, I mean, it takes what, 2 minutes? It doesn't take very long. You just press your binding up. And then it just
Now
feels...
be careful if you've got bias. Be careful when you're doing that because remember pressing. So press. Don't iron, guys.
Yes.
Don't be pulling on that. Just press. Bring it up, press it. Bring it up, press it.
Yep. And I know some people, I've seen some tutorials, and they actually use glue and glue it down here and then sew it on.
You know what? That new tape by Annie, that 1/4 inch tape that you press on there, that would work too. We're teaching ourselves all kinds of new things right here.
So some people glue it, some people just use school glue and just heat it with a little bit of their iron and it just goes. And so anyway, there's all sorts of ways you can finish it beyond that. But those are a couple of tips for, ooh, we're getting a little excited here.
We are very excited.
So maybe now that I remembered that I have to bind this, I'll get this done. But hey, it's not till Halloween.
I was going to say you got time and it's so
cute.
pretty.
This was a free pattern that Fat Quarter Shop did a year or 2 years ago.
Oh, way to go, Fat Quarter Shop. That's beautiful.
It's really pretty.
That's a really pretty quilt.
This was fun. I did this with my mom and my aunt. So
nice.
Anyway, those are some binding tips for you. And
now,
I don't know.
Well, we have something
I didn't.
here.
Yeah, I was going to. Yeah, I have to tell you.
Liz needs to blow her nose a lot.
My super special tool that I use. So after I've made my binding and then I'm getting ready to sew it on the back of my quilt, I wind it around a toilet paper roll.
So tricky.
And then I put the toilet paper roll on my thread stand on my machine and just pull it off and bind it on that way. And let me tell you the funny story about that. So one day my daughter, who's a fidgeter, was in my sewing room chatting with me, and she just saw a toilet paper roll sitting on my machine, and she just ripped it up.
Oh,
and I went, I use that. I need that. And so she felt so bad because she realized this. So I went on a little trip, and I came home, and I had like 10 toilet paper rolls on my sewing machine.
Don't ask where the toilet paper went, though. Don't ask where. Neighbors, we're sorry. If you have a little toilet paper on your trees while Liz was gone, we're really sorry about that. We know nothing about it.
She had saved them probably all over the house. So anyway, one? Kate.
Oh, cute girl.
So, and there's binding babies that are super cute. There's all sorts of other tools, but
I like it.
Toilet paper roll, I think. Almost all of us have that, right?
We were going to talk about some non-quilting tools one time. We'll have to bring a toilet paper roll.
We'll bring a toilet paper roll
sure.
again. So
maybe paper towel one too. If you've got a big quilt, you could.
Yeah, that's true. Go all the way up.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I haven't done that yet.
Well, there you go, a non-quilting tool.
So toilet paper roll is my fancy tool for binding, but it works really well.
I like it.
And if I'm on the ball, I make my binding at the same time as my quilt top.
Yes.
And then I can roll it on my toilet paper roll, and it can sit there for however long
until you get your quilt quilted.
To get the quilt quilted, which, since I don't do my own quilting, can sometimes take a minute.
It can. And what's neat about having your binding done when you get that quilt back from the quilter is you don't have to then spend the time doing it.
Right.
It's already done. All you have to do is slap it on.
on.
That's what I did yesterday, and it was like,
yeah, kind of a reward, right?
It is. It's already done. It's cut. It's ready to just put on my quilt. Yeah, nice.
So,
good job, Miss Liz. Good job.
So those are some fun binding tips, and you guys can decide which of those are new to you. Did anyone learn anything about binding today?
We hope so.
Anything new?
Yeah.
I guess here's a question: do you like bias binding? Have you done it before?
Yeah. I know it does frighten a lot of people. We
have
a lot of ladies that come in and say, I'd like to do that, but I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And we're happy to show you. Everyone that's here at the store knows how to do it, and most of them do choose to put that on their quilts too. Yeah. So come on in, and we're happy to help anyone with it too if you have any questions. And like I said, we have that neat little tutorial that Lori made up for us. So we're happy to make copies of that and explain that one a little bit further to you too, if you would like.
There's
that
resources,
as well.
and there's lots of tutorials online, on YouTube, on Instagram. In fact, I just saw one on Instagram last night, and it reminded me about the clipping, which I do, but when I saw that last night, I thought, I'm going to bring that up. So
that was a great tip.
Yeah,
that was a
and
great
it works
as well.
Really good. I don't know. You just have those things, and you're like, duh, why didn't I think of this before? I call those BFOs. Blinding flash of the obvious.
Ooh, I like BFO. I'm going to have to remember that.
Blinding
I like that.
Flash of the, and you go,
I like it.
I should have known that.
I should have known that one. And then we think those people that come out with them on their little videos or YouTubes or whatever they're doing, they're so smart. And you're like, duh.
I should have known that.
I should have known that. Nice.
Okay,
nice,
well,
nice.
Lene's also joining from Idaho Falls. And Lene, remind me, you were our winner from the very first week, I think. So,
nice.
That's exciting.
Welcome back.
I'm excited. Okay, and we have one more announcement.
Oh, okay. So, we're 24 and a half years old now. 24 and a half years old. But we always did our birthday in May. The store actually opened in December of 99, and we've kind of done the history already of Village. But the store actually opened in December of 99. But it wasn't until the following May that they had their big ribbon cutting, because they had some... a few little renovations, and they were trying to build up their inventory a little bit when they first opened. So May is when they had their official opening. So we decided this year what we would do is we're going to have a birthday party tomorrow, because tomorrow is the 24th.
Oh,
and it's our 24th birthday.
Good idea.
Duh, I could think of something once in a while.
We could do that till you're 31. and then after that, we got to come up with a new plan.
Up with a new plan. Well, let's see. Luckily, that still gives me 9 years to think about that. So I'll work on that, Miss Liz. So we would like to welcome as many of you that can come in tomorrow. Say hi. We'll have some different store specials, and I'm going to tell you about them today because it's a surprise birthday party. It's a surprise birthday party. But we will have, and we're going to have some treats. You never know. You never know what's going to pop up tomorrow for a treat.
Come in anytime.
Anytime, all day long, 10 to 5. 10 to 5 all day long tomorrow. So
help us celebrate our birthday.
Help us celebrate. We'd love to have you. So, did anybody else say anything about binding before we bounce off?
No one jumped on here. Okay. Lene said she can't come see us because she had a total knee replacement 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
will
sweetheart.
you get healed up?
Yeah.
And then come see us.
Yes, please. Yes, please. So my husband has done 2 of those, one in December and then one in February again. So I feel your pain, friend.
Yes.
I do. I hope you have some great help at home there helping you out with that. So anyway, we hope that you all maybe learned a tip or two on your binding and it was helpful. And we hope you'll come see us tomorrow and we could say goodbye until next week.
Yes, goodbye until next week.
Yes,
for sure.
yes. Thank you again for joining us.
Yes.
And thank you, Miss Liz, for always helping me out.
We have so much fun, so I hope you enjoy.
We do. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week. Stay well, be healthy, and be nice to one another.
Bye.
Bye.